Okay, so after we finished reading through it and making our whole list of all the emotions and feelings we saw, I would then talk to the students about the different emotions that we see up on the board, and afterwards I would start talking about the writing extension. So I would say, in your journals, I want you guys to pick one character from this list and one of their emotions. So one and one character and one of their emotions. You're going to write about what their emotion was and how they acted in the story because of it. So, for example, if it were me and I chose Miss McGoody, I would say that I noticed, and this is what I would start writing on the board just to model for the students, and I would be talking through it as well. So I would say, so this is me pretending to write, I noticed that Miss McGoody was angry with the monkey when he started letting all the other animals in. I think she was mad because she had just cleaned her house and he was getting it dirty again. She was so mad that she chased him all over the house and yelled at him while they ran. Okay, and I would also, then after I wrote my explanation on the board with the students, I would say, once you guys are finished writing your explanation, so once you guys are finished picking one character and one emotion, and you write about the emotion the character had and how that made them act because of this emotion, I want you guys to skip 2 lines in your journal, and I want you to write about a time when you felt that emotion and how that made you act. So then again, I would model it on the board. So I would take my marker and I would skip like just a little bit of a chunk on there, and I would say, I would make my connection to being angry and how that made me act in time, just so that way the students can see it too. And then after I would let the students take their time to write. I might even write in my journal too, just so that way we're all doing it together. And once everybody is finished, I would call them all back to the front, and we would just share out, so everyone would, and if you don't have a space in the front of your room or something, you can just, if there's not a space, you could just have the students still seated at their desk. So I would just take volunteers, and we would talk about their connections and what they saw, basically what they wrote about. And then after that, I would ask them, I would bring back from the beginning of the video when I asked them if they had ever heard the phrase, not to judge a book by its cover. I would bring that back in, so I would ask them about what do they think that phrase means after reading this book, and then we would sort of unpack it together. Yeah, and then we would talk about whether we think it's important to not judge a book by its cover or not to judge somebody else by what is presented before us, and it would just lead into a discussion like that. So yeah, that's the end of mine. I'm sorry if this was kind of confusing for me, from me going back and forth to like reading the book and then like talking like I'm talking to students, and then like going off on a side note and saying, oh, if I had this, or if I were in a classroom, this is and that. I am not in a classroom and I do not have students with me, so I was just trying to give some background knowledge while I did that. So thank you, and yeah, that is the end of this.